We're going to talk about preserved remains. Preserved remains are something that's the actual old living thing that has been preserved and not allowed to decompose or melt or be destroyed like everything else. So if we find a petrified dinosaur bone used to be a bone, now it's just made out of rock in the shape of a bone, that's not as cool as if we could find an actual woolly mammoth. Now there are three ways that we normally find preserved remains. They are ice, amber, and tar. Ice is when a woolly mammoth was walking along and was like, man, it sure is cold, and then it got too cold and he fell over and died. And he was like, oh, mammoth dead, okay? The mammoth then got covered in snow, the snow got wet, it slowly froze, and then we got a giant mammoth-sicle, a big frozen mammoth, inside a block of ice that a long time later we can find, and he's actually still a mammoth. We found people this way too, and that way you can actually thought and see and feel what the fur would be like on a woolly mammoth, or what the hair on a human being from a very long time ago would be. Another one is amber. This was in Jurassic Park. There was that little stone on top of his walking stick that they drilled into that had a mosquito trapped in it. That's how they got dinosaur DNA. Amber is tree sap that covers an insect, and then over a really long time, all of the moisture leaves the amber, and it turns into something as hard as a rock. And so we then have amber, or frozen tree sap, that have mosquitoes stuck in it. And of course they were trees, so you tend not to find like a human stuck in amber, because you'd have to be a pretty stupid human to stand on a tree long enough to be completely covered in tree sap. Finally, tar is that black sticky stuff. You'll see them painted on cracks in the road in order to fix the road up. Well, it happens naturally sometimes too. It makes these big bubbling pits. They have a famous set of tar pits in California called the La Brea tar pits. But the tar also prevents any oxygen or movement or other animals from getting to it. So things used to go over to the tar and trip and fall and get stuck, and they would die, and scientists have been able to pull old things like mammoths or whatever out of the tar pits also. So we've got ice, amber, and tar for preserved remains.